Hi everyone, I'm Michael,
And I'm Erin,
and you're watching.
the early show.
Ta-da! Hi Aaron,
Hi, Michael.
how are you?
I'm good. You're looking very wonderful in your double houndstooth today.
Houndstooth reminds me of my Grandma Cooper. She was the assistant postmistress, so the second in command at the post office in her little
Oh,
town. And she used to wear this houndstooth skirt suit. She had two of them she got from the Bay catalog. And one
wow.
was pink and beige, and the other one was green and beige, but like a bright green and beige, like chartreuse and beige.
You know what's crazy is that those are the colors I imagined that they would be. And I don't know if that's because that was like a common sort of
Right.
suit look was the pink and the green, but
Yeah,
those were the colors that I imagined. That is amazing. And I wonder what happened to these beautiful suits.
I don't know. But I've always been in love with Houndstooth ever since then.
Yeah, me too.
Here, there, we'll make that go away. So, what's today's topic?
Today's topic is rage.
Urgh, this
Rage,
topic makes
rage,
me so
rage.
mad. That was my best joke for the whole show.
Yeah, that's it. It took a while for you to write it, but you delivered it flawlessly. So we really appreciate
I
that.
created this whole series so I could get that joke in.
Yeah, well, you did it. High
Um,
five.
oh,
High
wrong
five.
way. Ugh. By week 7, we'll have it down. So we're going to start off today's episode of the early
Rage.
show
Hmm.
with your ugly self. What is the ugly rage that you have? The rage you're like, oh, I hate it when I do that.
Well, I am one of my things in life that I deal with is a quick and quite volatile temper, and I have dealt with it my entire life. Like I can really fly off the handle.
I feel very called out. Did your husband put you up to talking about this? Or my husband, I mean? my husband.
Yeah. Yeah, Francis messaged me and said, "Look, Aaron, no, maybe it's like being an extroverted type of person that you and I both are, but it's definitely I don't deal with a lot of other types of things, but rage is something that I've had to deal with my whole life, um, and I can get mad very quickly, and I have always the worst part of it for me is that I get physical. So I have not, as an adult, yes, I know, it's bad news. But as a kid, my parents regularly used to say that they were so glad that of their three children they had, I was, as the only girl, the one who got the temper, because I would throw things and I would come after my brothers. Like I remember,
Oh,
um,
yeah, my sister and I would do that.
yeah, one time my younger brother, I I don't like lobsters. I find them super creepy.
I hate lobster.
They're so creepy, and my
Oh,
dad brought home a bunch of them from some lobster fest on the coast, and
cockroaches of the sea.
they're so gross. And my brothers chased me around the house with them. They were like still alive with their little claws, stick bandaged shut, and um, I was so furious that my younger brother, who is much larger than I am, I still remember like tearing after him up the stairs and just smacking him open palmed right on his back right before he got into the bathroom. And he gets in there and he locks the door, and it was like he was determined to never come out because of how mad I was going to be. So, and there are many other stories of me putting my hand through walls and
Oh,
yeah, really like a very angry, raging temper about things, often relating to other people, arguments, these types of things. But as I've aged, I've definitely gotten it much more under control. But there are still times when the children are being children, but driving me fucking mental, and I will explode, and it's like a bomb has gone off. And I don't hit anybody, but I will just like it's like just shouting. But
yeah.
there's this one thing that I get on a roll, and sometimes I feel like
Oh,
I'm
it's like a
performing.
rhythm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're performing.
I start to find these
It's the
words and
liquid.
sayings, and I'm just going and going and going. But they're also kind of funny.
Yeah, it's like
But
an
I
it's like your body becomes an instrument.
but others who are around and are not receiving it will start to like snicker and giggle a little bit. And that just sends me, it's not funny. And I'm but you know, now when I see my own children, my middle daughter, Mackenzie, has the same temper. And when she does it, I'm sitting there biting my cheek, trying not to giggle because it's so funny. But yeah, when you're the one who's exploding, it doesn't feel that way.
Yep.
So for me, I often end up saying things that I have to like double back on. Like one day, it must have been right after Cedar was born and I was postpartum and emotional. And the girls, of course, were also in the same phase. But Lennon just one day absolutely refused to go to her dance class. Like, I am not going. I'm not leaving. Fighting with Penny, who's Cole's mom, fighting with everyone. And I just lost it. And I was like, you know what? Fuck you, Lennon. And then, you know, of course, I apologized and we worked it all out. But weeks later, we were sitting in the car and Lennon, who was 9, she says, remember that time you said, fuck you to me? And I said, oh, I know, honey, I'm so sorry. And wait, it gets better. She goes, you know, I always knew that day would come, Mom. No!
I've just been waiting for you. I knew you were gonna let me down. Wow.
Yeah. It was one of those parenting moments of like, oh my God, I've done what I tell my children not to do to my child. What have I done?
Well, and your children see you.
Yeah, exactly. Thankfully, like we're a very open family, so they kind of, the mystique of swearing has sort of been demystified for them. So it's not something that carries the weight that maybe it would if we were very anti-swearing, but still not a good thing to say to your 9-year-old daughter.
It took a long time for us to get around to what your ugliest was, but I think we've landed there.
Yeah, I think that was probably it.
I'm going to do ugliest, but I'll do it really short. My ugliest is when I get really angry, like, why did you put this here? For no reason. Right. And then it was actually me who put it there. My ugliest is when I'm really snappy and curt for no reason. It's just the wrong wind blew through my brain. And then I realize I'm actually the source of the problem. It's so rage and humiliation. Oh, nothing's worse. Like when you fuck up in gym in front of all the boys, and you were like, I'm going to show you, and then you fuck up and you don't actually do it. And then you're just like beside yourself. Yeah. Ooh. Well,
and there's like that shame. That's this other part of rage, right? That you do these things and you feel yourself doing them, and then immediately after go like, fuck, why did I do that? Like that's, I know better, or you know, I'm just grumpy and I should have walked away. But of course, these are all lessons we learn as we age over time. But
the second category is the ragiest you've ever been. Your biggest rage. I'm going to go first because I know mine right away. Okay, when I was 16, I had this huge fight with my mother, which was the beginning and end. It was really the end of all fights. We've never fought since. We had this huge shouting match, and I was yelling. We were just saying all the terrible things that we had done to each other in our lives. All the things we had saved up, and we were hurling them at each other. And I was yelling so hard, I remember, and was so, like, the energy was rolling out of my body that I started to drool and spit. I was literally frothing at the mouth. I noticed losing control of my jaw as I was yelling because I was vibrating. Anyways, and she kicked me out of the house for a couple of weeks. And then I wrote a big apology letter and I got to come back. That was the angriest I've ever been. Yeah. It was awful.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. It's hard. I think it's hard when you're a teenager too, right? Like you're hormonal and you're all over the place. So there's all these
gay, resentful, divorced parents. Yeah. Adult child of an alcoholic.
Yeah. So it's pretty good if 16 was your kind of peak rage moment.
Yes, I hit other peaks after that, but nothing that peaked quite so peakily. That was
Right.
my, what's the tallest? That was my Mount Kilimanjaro?
Yes.
Is that the tallest in the world? I don't know. It's my peak anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. I have had a lot of meltdowns in my life, so I don't know what would be the worst. One that comes to mind was, again, fighting with one of my brothers, who neither of them really have a quick temper. So they could stay calm and collected through our exchanges much longer than I could. That became like a source of ammo for them, of course. And they would rile me up. They would get me going because they thought it was funny. And we were coming home from somewhere. We were in the car, and I was fighting with my older brother, who is a really like soft, gentle man, and was as a boy as well. But he was like beaking me. He's a geological engineer, he's super smart. So he would get me going, and I would want to prove that I was just as smart as he was. And I can't remember what we were fighting about, but he left the van and I went tearing after him, and he was trying to get in the house to get away from me while still like shouting things at me. And we had this beautiful front door that had little stained glass pieces on it, and he went to close the door and I went to stop him, and I just put my entire hand right through the stained glass door, and by some like fluke did not get one single cut, like just hand right through it, popped the stained glass.
And you didn't cut him either.
Nobody got injured, but this beautiful piece of stained glass, and my mom was just so mad. She was just like, and she doesn't have, it's my dad who has that temper that I've inherited from him. And so she's always very much been like, you two need to fucking get your lives sorted out here. Stop putting your hands through things. But it was like, it was one of those, it happened so fast too, that it just immediately snapped me out of it. Like, what are you doing? This is,
Yeah.
But it's that same kind of like you said, you lose control and suddenly like you're not really thinking in the same kind of capacity. You're just doing. And that was always something for me, is that my body would end up being involved in these ways that until I didn't quite know. And now, of course, I'm like, well, somebody probably should have helped me learn.
Right. Well, this is it. That when I learned the idea that you teach kids how to self-soothe,
yes,
I was like, holy fuck. Oh, that's true. I had to learn that as an adult. It never...
Yeah. No, that's me. Like, I didn't know how to, I was always just told, stop it. You just stop now. Right. But it's like way out of reach when you're in that type of like rage mode. And we just actually last week, before the girls went back to their dads, had one of arguably the worst meltdowns I've ever seen from my middle child, Mackenzie. And it was like, again, same thing. Lennon was goading her and had said something that she wasn't supposed to say to Cole. And it just was like, it sounded like somebody was shaking the walls down. She was bashing against stuff and screaming. And then like after so remorseful. So those are the moments I'm trying to like navigate through, right? How do we help ourselves not get to the point where we're so angry that we're going to end up crashing and feeling remorseful, Okay,
well, we want to hang on to that. We're going to come back to that because we're going to talk about good anger. But first, we're going to play Psych. Psych. So, Psych is where we test the psychology of the moment by sourcing the inner mind of Aaron Scott. I say a word, and you say the first word that comes to mind.
Okay, let's do this.
So, rage.
Red.
Patriarchy.
Anger.
Loud.
Kick.
Shame.
Crying.
Red.
Hot.
Screaming.
Alone.
Machine.
Gun.
That's for Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
We're still going. Hurt.
Okay. Child.
Devil.
Girl.
Therapy.
Healing.
Oh, you draw such tiny little lines there. And the last episode yesterday, was it yesterday? Whatever it was, uh, you had brown, and I had brown, and you said brown. And
I noticed that.
today I have red, and you said red. You're
Yeah.
anticipating my colors.
Yeah, that's interesting. Before you say them, I'm in there. I was gonna say I feel like this is like a little mini therapy session, but for me, but maybe it's for both of us.
Yes. Okay, so now we're on to topic number 4: good anger.
Good anger. So what do you think when you think about good anger?
Well, there's anger. I remember years ago, before you were born, when I was living in Toronto, there was the whole flip-flop bill happening in Ontario to put gay and lesbian rights into the Ontario Human Rights Code. And there were people in Toronto who were actively doing stuff. And I was helping out. I was volunteering. So we were campaigning. And they sent me, like, I was this 24-year-old. Oh, God, no, I wasn't even 24 because I was still with Dana. I was 21, I guess. Oh, Jesus. 21-year-old gay kid. I'd only been in Toronto for 2 years. And they sent me to MPs' offices to, like, talk, or MPPs. I don't remember which. I don't remember the stupid names of them. Anyways, the regional people, elected people, whichever those are. Oh, I'm terrible. They sent me to like talk to them and solicit, try to turn people, and they sent me to like the big bad guy that everybody hated, which was amazing. Oh, are you getting another call?
It's the child. It's like she could hear us talking about her in a rage.
Anyways, to make this quick, they ended up having a big vote in the Toronto House Commons or whatever it's called, the Toronto Parliament. Fuck,
Right.
I sound so dumb. I know where I was.
We know.
I was 21. And they voted it down. And all of a sudden, Brent Harkness, the Reverend, who was the big gay face of this movement, stood up and screamed at them, "Shame on you! Shame on you! This is appalling! You should be ashamed of yourselves!" And all the gallery, all the queer people who were in the gallery started yelling, "Shame, shame, shame." And we all immediately, all the security came in and they pushed us out. And we were all in the stairways. There were hundreds, like 100 people, standing in the stairway, refusing to move. And people at the top were getting pushed. And there was blood on the railing. There was blood on some of the marble on the stairs. And people were just screaming the whole time. And I was so terrified being in this crowd of
I bet.
rage.
Yeah.
But it was really powerful.
Like, I don't know that I've ever felt that before. And I've been at protests and things, but not at like a pinnacle moment, right? Like that's where you were. And wow.
It was like every injustice that had ever happened to us as queer people was resting on the head of that pin, right? And all it took was somebody to strike it, and it was nuclear. It was like all of the pain erupted at once out of us. All of the injustice was there in that one communal elected official decision. It was really remarkable.
And so what happened from that?
Oh, whatever. But
did you guys, like, in that moment of rage, did you move? And
there was a huge protest the next day. There was a big march, and it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And time passed and things changed and got better.
Yeah, I think about that though, like in relation to all the Indigenous youth who have stood up for Wet'suwet'en and like the immense amount of rage that they are experiencing and feeling that becomes like tangible even across immense distances. Mm-hmm. And I feel that in a lot of young people in this world, that there's a rage that comes from sadness, but that is there for some kind of like productive end. It's not rage and maybe rage. I think rage is on the spectrum of fear, right? It's within the same like emotional as sadness in some ways. And so we see those kinds of connections, but I do find that, it's like a double-sided sword for me in terms of I think that's a lot of where my passion comes from. It comes from the same place, you know, a lot of my ability to be outspoken and say to people like, no, I don't think so. I don't think that's right. I don't think you get to say that to people, or standing up for myself throughout my life, or teaching my children how to be powerful and intense. That on the other, you swing too much the other way and it can become something kind of scary and dark. But that, like, at its core, I don't know that rage is something we have to constantly try to hinder or silence. It's just how are we using it and reflecting on it and having like healthy boundaries with it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I love that. You're so smart. I'll just let you talk. Now our last thing is a new game that we're calling judging. And judging, because it's about rage, you're going to pick things from the recent COVID period that has been bothering you. So you're going to judge other people, and then I'm going to judge you whether I think it's good or bad.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So I'm going to judge your judging.
Yeah. We're judging each other, judging others.
Yeah. Well, I'm judging you. You're not judging me. You can judge me in your head, but, you know.
Let's not go that far, okay?
Okay, so what are the things that are pissing you off about our current moment?
It's pissing me off about our current moment. So no one turns the lights off in my house. They leave rooms and they never turn the lights off.
That's a good judging. I hate people who don't turn the lights off.
Worst ever. The other one...
Not eco-friendly.
No. It's not that hard.
Get it together, young people.
We have in here. No, it's not. It's not the young people.
Oh, really? My fucking husband, when we first moved in together, didn't know how to close a door. Like, he'd go in to get a drawer. Like, he'd go in to get a glass, and the door would be open. And you'd walk in, and he'd either turn all the lights off, or he would keep all the lights on. There was no in between. So sometimes you'd walk in, and you'd see all the doors open, and it'd make you crazy. And other times, the lights would be off. And you just run into something because the door was wide open. So we have this thing, even 6 years into living together, at night I have to go around and check every door because I can't trust that he's actually locked the ones he says he has, which he just sometimes hasn't. Anyways, I'm talking, but it's actually you judging.
Yeah. Okay, other ones. The other one that the children can't, well, one child can't seem to figure out, flushing the toilet. Yeah.
That's good judging.
It's becoming a real problem. And when there was the toilet paper shortage, it was, you'd see that she would have like used 2 little squares, and then there would be like 7 squares hanging out of the unflushed toilet, and you'd be like, no, the toilet paper. Oh
yeah, that is the best judging. You need to judge that shit for sure.
So it's also like, I gotta keep in mind how old she is.
Okay, this is supposed to be a fast game, but you and I are talkers.
Yeah. What else is driving me insane? Conspiracy theories.
What do you think about that's good too. That I agree with all these.
Yeah. Good.
Keep going. Rapid fire.
I'm judging people for how productive they are at home.
Oh, see, that's bad. I don't agree with that. I think you should just let people be as productive as they want to be. Who cares?
Yeah, you're one of the people who I've been like, listen, Michael.
You and the show. Fuck you every night for 2 months.
Every damn night. Who do you think you are? And you look cute while you do it too? I don't think so.
Okay, that's totally bad. That's a bad one.
Bad one. And then the other one that I'm judging people for is going on like big hikes and big bike rides. I don't know why, but it bothers me.
That's bad too. You gotta let people be people.
I'm having a hard time with that. Having a hard time watching them and then being mad about things that they're doing. And it has no effect on my life.
What about the grocery store? Let's narrow it down.
Okay, the grocery store. Yes, I hate when people cut in lines right in front of you because they don't know what 6 feet distance is.
Jesus, people are dumb.
Yeah, like just in and out. And then the other one is how many people are still touching their hands or their faces and all over everything.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah, that's a dunno.
It's hard.
I'm kind of with you, and I'm kind of like, you got to let people touch their faces if that's who they are.
Yeah, it's true. I'm a face toucher, so it's been a lot of work to not touch my face.
Yeah, I'm a dunno. Well, there you go. So I think that's it, right? How's that for you?
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep going, but I'm a judgmental bitch, so I think we better wrap it up.
There. So, okay, thanks everybody. Who knows what the topic is tomorrow? Do you have any idea? I don't have a clue.
No, I don't. I think we'll come up with it on the spot, like we all.
Yeah, tune in tomorrow for another episode of The Early Show. Oh, it's over there, but I'm hiding.
Hey.
Bye.